abomination. Israel had the images, and they had the paintings on the wall and all of that stuff. You know, paintings of all them pagan deities that they had started to worship. But he said, now, turn, Ezekiel, and I am going to show you a greater abomination than that. Go ahead, read.
Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house.
And then he brought me to the gate of the door of the Lord's house, he said. Go ahead, read.
Which was toward the north.
Go ahead.
And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz.
Then who's this Tammuz? This was some Babylonian deity. Israel in the Lord's house worshiping some pagan deity. But he said, wait a minute, Ezekiel. I got greater abominations than that to show you. Go ahead and read.
Then said he unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man?
Go ahead.
Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these.
Now he said, turn again, and I'm going to even show you greater abominations than these. Go ahead and read on.
And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord.
Now he said he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord. Go ahead and read.
Between the porch and the altar were about 25 men, and their backs toward the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east, and they worshiped the sun toward the east.
Now, this is when the Lord gave the commandment. When you go back and read it, when the Lord gave the commandment, he told Israel, don't worship nothing, in the heaven beneath, in the heaven above, or in the earth beneath. The sun or the moon or none of that. Because when he told it, when he came down and spoke to Israel, if you go back to Deuteronomy chapter 4, he said, look, Israel, you did not see no similitude of nothing. All you heard was a voice, so don't go and make nothing and say it is me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He said, don't worship the sun, don't worship the moon, don't worship nothing in the heavens or in the earth beneath or in the sea. Nothing. Now, but Israel did exactly what the Lord said not to do. Now they got their back to the temple and they worshiping the sun. Go ahead and read on.
Verse 17.
Go ahead.
Then he said unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, they put the branch to their nose. Therefore will I also deal in fury. Mine eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in mine ears with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them.
You would have said the Lord said, I ain't going to have no pity. And he said, when they cry in my ear, I'm not listening. Because they have done what I commanded them not to do. He said, so the Lord said, I am not listening. So now Israel, they done start, this is the church we are looking at here.
Yes,
that is who he is dealing with. He is dealing with the church. Because Israel is the church. So now Israel, they done brought in this paganism into the church. Already they had brought it in. Start reading now. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 7. And we're going to begin reading at verse 8. So now they're worshiping Tammuz, which was some Babylonian deity. Start reading at Jeremiah chapter 7, and we're going to begin reading at verse 8. Jeremiah chapter 7, and we're going to pick it up at verse 8. 7 and 8. Seven and 8. Okay. Go ahead and read, bro.
Behold, ye trust in lying words that cannot profit.
See what the Lord is saying to Israel? He said, you trust in lying words that cannot profit you. Go ahead and read on.
Will ye steal, murder, and commit adultery, and swear falsely, and burn incense unto Baal, and walk after other gods whom ye know not?
See what it said? Will you steal and swear falsely and do all this stuff and burn incense unto Baal, some other pagan deity, and walk after other gods? Go ahead and read on.
And come and stand before me in this house, which is called by my name.
Then you're going to do all of that. Then you're going to come and stand before me in my house, the house that is called by my name. Go ahead and read on.
And say, we are delivered to do all these abominations. Is this house, which is called by my name, become a den of robbers in your eyes? Behold, even I have seen it, saith the Lord. But go ye now into my place, which was in Shiloh, where I set my name at the first, and see what I did to it for the wickedness of my people Israel.
So now he's talking to Judah here. Because, and he telling them, he said, you go back to Shiloh and look at what I did to Israel, to the 10th tribe. Look at what happened to them. That should convince you that I am not playing, Judah. Just go back and look at what I did to your brothers when they worshiped me at Shiloh. Go back and look. Go ahead and read on.
Verse 13.
Go ahead.
And now, because ye have done all these works, saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
And I spake unto you, rising up early and speaking, but ye heard not.
Go ahead.
And I called you, but you answered not.
See what he said? You know, I rose up and I sent all of my prophets telling you, rising up early, sending them, but you heard not. And I spake unto you, and you did not listen. Go ahead, read on.
Therefore will I do unto this house, which is called by my name, wherein ye trust, and unto the place which I gave to you and to your fathers, as I have done to Shiloh.
He said, I'm going to do the same thing to Jerusalem that I did to Shiloh. That's why I'm telling you, better go back and look and see if you forgot what happened to your brothers, go back and take a look, and you see what I did to them. And Israel, because you were Judah, rather, because you would not repent, I'm going to do the same thing unto you. Go ahead and read.
And I will cast you out of my sight, as I have cast out all your brethren.
He said, well, see what he said he's going to do? I'm going to cast you out of my sight, even as I have cast out all of your brothers. Go ahead and read up.
Even the whole seed of Ephraim.
Go ahead.
Therefore pray not thou for this people, neither lift up a cry, nor prayer for them, neither make intercession for them, for me. For I will not hear thee.
Now he's telling Jeremiah, don't cry to them, don't make no intercession for them, because I'm not listening. You know, I told them what I wanted them to do. I told them what not to do, but they just refused to follow instructions. So therefore, Jeremiah don't even, as righteous as Jeremiah was,
yes, sir.
He said, Jeremiah, don't even bother praying for these people, because I'm not listening. Because the Lord had finally had enough of Israel. Go ahead and read on.
Seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire.
See what they say? You got the whole family involved. You know, the children gather wood. Then the father kindle the fire, and look at what mama do. Go ahead and read.
And the women knead the dough.
Go ahead. And then the women knead the dough. You know, they going to cook up some cakes here to offer it up to some queen of heaven. Go ahead and read.
To make cakes to the queen of heaven.
See what they say? To make cakes unto the queen. So you got the whole family involved in the stuff. You know, you got little Junior, you got little sister, you got mama, and you got dad. You know, children, y'all go out there and bring in some wood. Then dad, you make the pie. Then mama, she gonna bake the cakes unto the queen of heaven. You know, see what Israel was doing here? You know, and now they done got involved serving some other deity now, the queen of heaven. Go ahead, read on.
And to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger.
See what they said? To pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they might provoke me unto anger. This is what Israel did. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10 now. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Jeremiah 10, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Give you something that you can relate to today. You know, I don't know nothing about no queen of heaven and all of that stuff, but I'm going to tell you, you got a queen of heaven today that people worship.
Yeah, you do.
You know who she is? Mm-hmm. She is Mary. You know, the one that everybody like to call blessed.
Yes, sir. That's right, brother.
Yeah, you didn't know she was the queen of heaven today, did you? Mm-hmm. Yes, she is. That is a part of the doctrine of the Catholic Church.
That's right, brother.
So when you are involved in their doctrine, then you are worshiping the queen of heaven. That is what you're doing. I did not bother to bring that particular article with me today because I had to leave out something. I didn't want to make the lesson too long, but a whole lot of stuff I could have read you. Let's start reading. We're going to deal more with the modern day paganism now that is in the church. Start reading at Jeremiah chapter 10 and begin reading at verse 1. 10 and 1. Go ahead and read.
Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen,
Go ahead.
and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
See what it said? The Lord said, don't learn the way of the nations and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. That is what he was telling them from the very start.
Yes, sir.
You know, from the time that he brought them out of Egypt, do not learn the customs of these people because their customs are vain and they will turn you away from serving me. Now, we